Hi guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to the Pick a Card channel. My name is Veroosh. I'm excited to be here with you and to share with you some hopefully helpful messages. So I'm sitting here, it's raining, I'm in Vancouver, typical spring day in Vancouver, and so I'm wondering to myself what to do next. Veroosh, what am I going to do next? What are we going to do next? There's all these transits that are going on in Capricorn, and so we are thinking a lot about the past, releasing the past. Things are becoming apparent to us in front of our face about where we've come from, how we got here, and where we're supposed to go. So now we are sort of I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what should we do for a pick a card? It's like, what are we going to do next? Like, what are we going to do next with all this information? So here is the answer right here before you. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll give you some keywords in just a moment. But before we do that, why don't we have a collective reading or an intro just with my favorite new deck, which is the Journey of Love Oracle deck. I've had this deck before, and frankly, the first time I had it, it kind of went over my head. And as a reader of nearly 30 years, I know I've been doing it since I was a kid, it went over my head. So I'm guessing that it may have gone over the head of many people. And I suggest you give it a second chance because it's such a beautiful deck with such beautiful messages. So I actually repurchased this deck, and I'm so glad I did. I always felt like I needed to buy it again. I knew that I would. What happened was I mailed this deck out to a bunch of people. So anyway, so let's see. Your first card is the Seat of the Heart. So, okay. So the first kind of collective message is what's within your heart. What is the thing that you truly want? I actually have my eyes closed as I'm reading this. So going into your heart center, just focus and slowly breathe. I know I get excited, so I tend to talk fast, and there's so many messages. It's like grabbing butterflies or stars, you know. But the seat of the heart, slow down a little bit and get into your heart and consider to yourself, what is it that you truly want? Okay, simple question. Here is the next message. We have the ethereal touch. Okay, so this brings us out of our body and into our environment. What are we touching? Maybe not right now, but go into your memory. Here's a way to kind of get centered in this energy. Go into your memory and then consider, what is the touch? What touch that you've recently had, or maybe a long time ago, that is resonant for you? Like, what is who did you touch? How did you touch? How were you touched? That brought you meaning to your life, that brought you validation. What were you touching? Were you touching a pencil? Were you touching a pet? Were you touching a friend? Were you touching someone you love? Okay. Were you being touched? And how were you being touched? And what was the circumstances within which you were being touched that made you feel so good and so centered? Okay. So seat of the heart, ethereal touch, and number 3 is the sacred convergence. Okay. These are not easy cards to get they're not easy, but they're, sorry about that. See? Messages from the outside coming in. I'll get so many messages about the ambulances from all you guys for years now. So sacred convergence, okay. So how does your heart center connect with the touch? So think back, and don't think of your limitations. Don't think of the things that hold you back. Think of the possibilities. So go into your heart and reconsider again. You can do this exercise a couple times before we choose, but get into your heart and reconsider exactly what it is that you truly want. And then go externally and in some way consider, where did you experience a touch that was significant in your memory, right? What do you remember? When did you touch something that had a special meaning, that had a special vibration? And how can you now, moving forward, converge those things into a very altruistic and true form of what you desire? So on the main channel, the motto of the main channel is, your desire is your magic, right? And so what you truly want, when you truly act within what you want, when you truly sit within your space of convergence between the internal and the external, that is when you are in the flow, right? So that is flow. And so find this sacred convergence. Some people call it the flow. Some people call it, I don't know, epiphany. And see if you can find a space in which those two parts of yourself, or parts of yourself and the external world, converge and connect. And don't feel anxious. I sense anxiousness if you can't kind of firstly think about it. We're sort of planting a seed here. You can give yourself time and think about it. Give yourself a week. Give yourself 2 weeks. Give yourself a couple days. Think about this again at night. Think about this in the morning. Where does the internal meet the external? Okay. Wow, I never expected that. That's fun. Hey girl, hey, where should we put these? Just as a reminder, let's put these to the side, just so you guys can have them there. Okay, so now let's visit our piles. So your first pile is here, and then we have, I almost forgot what we're reading about because I had my eyes closed. Your first pile is efficiency, okay? Efficiency. Let's see, you can choose by number if you have, or you can choose by word. And then we have simplicity for pile 2. Simplicity, okay. So we're looking at what is the next step. What is the imperative next step that you must take? Number 3, you have beauty, okay. Beauty. Beauty. I don't know why I need to say that. Here we go. I'm a very stream of consciousness person, if you guys haven't noticed already. And number 4, you have depth. Okay, so maybe you can attribute one of these to your directive in life. Maybe you can appoint one of these to a relationship that you're having difficulty with, or possibly you can choose a couple of them for different scenarios or situations. Make sure to pause the video and give yourself time to consider. Okay, so now we're going to begin. Okay, now we're going to begin and look a little bit deeper where the internal meets the external world and where the convergence can happen. So number 1, hi. If you chose number 1, here we begin, and we have the message of efficiency. We have 3 tarot cards. All my cards, by the way, are in the description. In the description at my shop, where you can purchase them on Amazon. So we have the Ace of Crystals, the Ace of Pentacles, some kind of vibrant new physical action or beginning. Wonderful time to start exercising. Do you want to start running? Listen, even if you're 150 pounds overweight, you can start with walking. You can start walking in your room, or you can go for walks outside. Don't be ashamed. I think people who exercise, who don't exercise, feel kind of careful with exercise, like somebody will look down on them. Whereas the people who are exercising are so joyful when they see someone exercising for the first time, or maybe just beginning, because they know that they're trying to do something good for their life. So they really resonate with that. So when you're going to a gym and you feel sort of shame or overshadowed, you're actually misunderstanding the scenario. Yes, there's always going to be jerks, but there's going to be jerks no matter what you do. The true people who are in the gym, or the majority of the people, normal people, not psychopaths, they're going to be happy for you. So this is an Ace of Pentacles, new beginning. It doesn't necessarily mean a new beginning with regard to the gym. This can also mean any type of new beginning that's calling out to you, that feels like it is something to do with the body, something to do with the physical plane. Let's see the second card. So we have karma, the last judgment. A huge decision is made. Okay, so I think I got distracted a little bit with the gym comment, but apply it to your life however it feels. I think that the main theme that was coming through in that gym comment is that in some way you felt shame, or you felt limited, on the physical level, and so therefore you weren't free. And I feel as though someone had shamed you in the past, and so that's why the thing that you actually want to do, you don't feel free to do, because you feel as though ashamed, right? You feel shame. And so karma tells us that it's time for you to make a huge decision, the last judgment ruled by Pluto. This is where all that karmic stuff is going on, the attachment to past lives. So shame is a karmic issue for you that is nestled in your past lives, connected to the past. And in some way, the Capricorn transit, Capricorn battles Satan. You know, Capricorn defends us. It's kind of like the Capricorn is the membrane or the fence that prevents us, the gate between good and evil. And so Capricorn in some way keeps bad out, and it keeps bad out through hard decision making. And so I feel as though there's an attachment in the past to shame that prevents the free flow of energy into the physical realm. And so there is a critical decision that is being made in order to promote efficiency, in order to step away from things that bind us from flowing smoothly into new beginnings. Let's see our next card. Ooh, these are good. The Seven of Chalices. Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. This is Venus in Scorpio, by the way. So in some way, I feel as though in order to soften the blow of the truth, you keep falling back into illusion. So rather than taking a look at a reality, the reality that we were just facing a moment ago when we were talking about the Ace of Pentacles, you keep on falling into a drift of sleep, into a drift of, in some way, protecting yourself. It feels like protection because you don't, confronting the situation is in some way feeling threatening, in some way feeling as though it will be harm to you. So you're self-protecting yourself by kind of softening, cushioning the blow. But in doing so, I think that there's a little bit of an illusion. So it's, you know, rather than feeling bad about yourself, your body protects you. So for example, taking our gym comment back into the picture here, maybe you're protecting yourself away from, you know, knowing to take care of your physical body. And so therefore you shift the focus from going to the gym to buying yourself some nice food and self-comfort, because your body's trying to protect itself from depression, negative self-thought. And so therefore it chooses, your body has a predisposition to self-soothe, right? So in some way you have a glimpse at the harsh reality, but it's like your neural pathways, your circuitry can't handle the truth. And so therefore you kind of shift back into some kind of lulled state, some kind of protective mechanism to calm and to comfort yourself, you know. As you had a glimpse of the truth, and now you are self-soothing. I don't know what the balance is. See, this is also something that's necessary in our life to protect ourselves from things like depression. But I think that the call to action is to some way kind of integrate. Remember, our last card is the Sacred Convergence. So in some way, integrate the reality with protecting yourself, right? Here is the next message. And so this is the journey of love. We have the yin yang lover. Somebody wants something from you. Somebody wants physical connection. Somebody wants to connect. Somebody wants to know you in an intimate way. I feel as though there's a truthful reality in this situation. Some of you may be in another relationship at this time, and so you feel this cognitive dissonance between what the reality of the feeling is versus your social contract with your partner. So in other words, you love your partner, you don't want to betray them, but yet you have these feelings going on, or for another external reason, you're in some way coming into conflict with the feelings that you're having towards someone else. Here is the next message. We have the knowing without knowing. So trust that maybe some of these feelings are correct. Maybe not every single feeling or kind of connection that you have with someone is the right path to take. Maybe you're feeling doubt because the feeling is strong, but yet, hey, you know, knowing without knowing. It's like without really thinking about it. What is your instinct? What is the right path? But there is a desire here. The Seven of Cups is a card of desire. And then we have the Cloak, protection. I was trying to decide where to place this, right? Where is the right path to take? I think this person's going to go away, because this naturally kind of fell here for me. So this person is going to walk away. I think that they're going to realize the predicament that they're in. And I feel as though the temptation is really strong here. There's a strong temptation, and I feel like that is the word is efficiency, right? And I feel like there's different levels of efficiency that we could be meeting, but it's like, what is the efficient way to approach this situation? It's a big temptation, and yet you intrinsically know that it's not the path for you. Here is the next message. We have tantric union, and I already committed this card to this position. So I think this is going to bring you closer together with your partner or a future partner. There's a temptation here, and it's a very sensual, physical connection that is in some way being offered on the table, and yet you decide to go in the direction that you are going. You are not going to take that side route, that temporary pit stop. The next card is the Soul Craft card. Beautiful card, right? So Soul Craft. It's almost like a test in courage. It feels like a test in courage. It may not be a solicitation from an actual person. It may be some kind of other offer that's so tempting. It feels like, I like my sweets, so it's just like putting cake in front of me and saying, Veroosh, you can't eat it. There's such a temptation here, and yet you give yourself enough pause to really reorient yourself towards a higher truth, a higher principle. So there's this kind of, baseline connection that's super intense here, but then there's an elevated truth to which you have been moving towards or working towards for a long time, and you challenge yourself to go there. That's a beautiful thing. And you give yourself enough space to be able to do so. And then we have personal boundaries. It's fun. I love when the last card sort of kind of settles the debt, settles the confusion about the whole reading, because that was like, what's emerging here? That's how I read. What is this kind of reading? What is emerging here? And what's emerging here is that what we're working on and working through, number ones, is defining your boundaries with things. This may not be a person, although I do feel as though there's this real kind of deep connection to someone specific. And I feel like maybe there's been some doubt in the back of your mind whether or not you're in a relationship, or whether you're going into a specific direction towards a relationship, whether or not maybe there's something that has needed to be reconciled, such as a relationship, like you think if you met this kind of person, would you still have the feelings towards the destiny, the thing before you, in the same way? So this is maybe a test of efficiency, of courage, of doing what you actually want to do, and sort of kind of defining your boundaries in some way. There's going to be a piece of this in which you are going to be defining your soul, defining what the true intention is, true desire is for you, and that's going to lead you into moving forward in some kind of direction with regard to love, with regard to a relationship. And I feel as though there's like a deeper union that is waiting in front of you, or maybe the current person that you're with. But I think in some way it's there's a like the real message here is falling into action that feels natural and organic, as opposed to inorganic action. So rather than calculating, this is more to do with like really being zen, being within who you are, and being in the flow of action of what is the true touch, what is the true expression of your being, the true efficient expression of your being. So you have a temptation in front of you, number one. It might be cake, it might be a man, it might be a woman. There's something that you're reconciling, and I think that you're really learning a lesson about boundaries. I think these boundaries are I feel as though there's a doubt in your mind about something that you're going to get a chance to face and turn down. So it's like, if I go in this direction, it's like maybe you want to become an actor, but you know you need to go to school because that's a surefire way to be successful, right? So maybe you give yourself one last chance at the thing that you desire to be an actor. Maybe there's like a casting that you can go to in which you are, kind of trying out for a role, and you go to it, and then that confirms for you the higher elevated path that you need to take through school. And maybe your path through school leads you to a very special place in your life. So it's wherever you're going is beautiful, and I think that in the intermediary step you're learning something about where you're going. Okay, so number 2, hi guys, thanks for joining me. Make sure to comment and like and subscribe. This is a separate channel. We had the keyword simplicity. Okay, so we have simplicity. Let's take a look at your cards. Your first card is the Sage of Chalices. She's a Pisces, a Cancer, or Scorpio. Secondary transits in Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Somebody knows more about the circumstances. Somebody knows a lot about something. Somebody knows a lot about a situation. I think it's just by observing it, by paying attention to what's going on. Here is the next message. We have the Solar Deity. This is the card of the Sun. So I feel as though someone has insight into the significance of a situation that is happening for someone else. I think someone knows that this person has a very bright future ahead of them. They understand where this person is going. They understand where this person is going more so than even that person. So that person may be beginning something, but this person already knows that this is a very special time. Let's see your next message. We have the 8 of Chalices, the 8 of Cups. This is Saturn in Pisces, walking away from a situation. One of my favorite cards in the deck. Walking away, walking towards, appreciating that things are fluid, that things change, that it's not necessarily that we have to leave for bad circumstances. Sometimes we're called upon something through the gut. So I think someone is being left behind, and this could be a man or a woman, as someone is moving towards something. They feel like they had a call to action. A call to action is when someone is being called towards something and they're being guided in a forward moving direction, and so they are moving forward towards something, and they're leaving behind. I think that this person is wondering whether or not this person understands the motivation, and I think she does. I think she understands what's going on, and I think she's been personally touched by the situation, and I think she understands the mechanics of what's going on, and I think that she's in some way inspired by her experiences. Remember, a keyword is simplicity. Let's take a look at our this is the Journey of Love Oracle deck. You can find it in my shop on Amazon. Her Grace. So it's almost like she's releasing someone who's going off in a new direction, and I feel as though it's a very harmonious transition. This may not be like a love relationship. This may be a parent, releasing their child towards their destiny. This may be a friend allowing another friend to forge forward in some direction. Remember, with the 8 of Cups, the cups are standing, which means that the relationship that this person's leaving behind is not necessarily, this relationship or situation is not necessarily broken. Here is the next message. We have the heaven. Sorry. So I feel as though this person knows that there's a very, very special reason for why things are happening the way they're happening. I sense that this person is dealing with a fair bit of guilt. They're feeling guilty for leaving things kind of behind. They keep looking back and wondering, ooh, am I going in the right direction, and am I doing the right thing? I think that everybody is in agreement here in this intimate connection between this person and this person, that yes, this person has a very definitive goal to achieve. They're going to be very successful, and now is a critical time for them to make a very simple decision to go after that which they're being called to. I really want to put this card here. Let's see what this is. Intimacy. Interesting. This actually just changed a little bit, or gave me a little bit more information. Let's see if I can kind of give you guys a bit of a, we don't even need that here. Okay, hold on. No, we do need that light, even though it's pointing straight at the ceiling. Okay, so the intimacy card, let's take a look at this message. So what the intimacy card to me suggests is that this person is in some way moving towards an intimate relationship with someone else. So I feel like maybe this is a mother releasing a daughter or a son towards a connection towards their future. And I think that this person is going out searching, and I think that it's like a timing thing. They feel like they must go now, and it's a pure transition. The sun being here is like a promise of hope. The sun being here is really guaranteeing that there's going to be a very wonderful connection. Let's put the next card here. We have the sacred union. So families are connected as soulmates. So I feel like the Sage of Chalices is deeply connected towards this person. And so it's kind of an expression of deep self-assurance, or a deep assurance of this relationship as being thorough and strong and worthwhile. And so she carries forward this information towards, knowing that the relationship is not jeopardized. But there is this sense of someone leaving, someone going forward towards some type of intimate connection. Let's see the next message. We have the perfect alignment, which is, we're talking about simplicity. So we're talking about a perfectly aligned circumstance. Let's take a look at the next card. We have communication. So there's simple communication that is happening in this circumstance. I feel as though, you know, I go now. There's this kind of really truthful, honest communication that is coming through. I feel as though there's like a person who is in some way really understands that someone has to go somewhere to achieve something, and that this is a pure spirit. This can be a spirit guide also that's guiding someone else, or maybe the person watching, towards some kind of destiny. It's time to go now. There's a message here. It's everything is aligned perfectly. Everything's just right at this time. So it's time to move forward. It's time to seize the day. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Go forward and achieve that which you truly want. This is a really tender card in this reading. I feel like this card is suggesting that there's a real connection between you and someone else. There's a real connection between you and someone else, or this person and someone else. They're meant to be, they in some way are already in synchronization or synchronized with another energy field, another person's energy. They're meant to go forward in this direction. They're being guided by spirit. Pretty nice message. I hope you guys enjoyed this. So I feel like the majority of you are this Eight of Cups, moving forward in some direction. But if you're the person who's releasing, know that the person that you're releasing is protected, and that they are heading in a good direction, a prosperous direction that doesn't actually in some way undermine your relationship with them, the sacred union. So, okay, so wonderful message there for number 2. Again, make sure to comment and like and subscribe to the secondary channel. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I also posted a meditation on my meditation channel. If you guys want to check that out, that's really nice. I'll link it down below. Okay, thanks number 2. See you later. So number 3, hi number 3, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. Let's take a look at your cards. Your word was beauty, beauty, beauty boo. I was trying to make something out of it, but nothing came yet. So let's see if you chose number 3. Let's see what your cards are. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, so let's do it. So we have the Sage of Flames. She's the Queen of Wands. A Sag, a Leo, or an Aries. I feel as though she's a gift giver. She's in some way giving you a gift. There's a message of someone giving someone else a gift, bringing forward. There's a brief connection, eye connection, and that procured an outcome, a desired outcome, some kind of direction. Let's take the next message. We have the 10 of Orbs, which is the 10 of Swords. There's a gift being given because something had ended. Something had ended in the recent past, complete a cessation. And I feel as though you had been trying to make something work in your life, and it came to pass that it ended completely. And I don't feel as though that there's a degree of sadness, great sadness, but it is kind of an abscess in your life. There is a bit of an abscess. There's some missing pieces now in your life, where that thing was, where this person, you could be this person, but that person isn't, there's a hole in somebody's life, and this person is giving a gift. That gift is going to actually lead into prosperous new beginnings. So this is she's pouring fire water into the abscess, and from that abscess green flora grow, trees and shrubs, and I see a little rabbit jumping out of there as well. So it's just kind of life being born out of something that seemingly had ended. Here is the next message. We have transition, which is the Death card, the card of Scorpio. This is Sun in Gemini, and this is Sag, Leo, or Aries. Secondary transits in Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. When I say secondary transits, I mean maybe somebody has a Sun in like a fire sign. Secondary transits, maybe a Mars in Pisces or something like that. Don't use this as like a yes or no 100%, but it's a rough estimate, a rough guide. A watery, fiery person. So we have transition, change and transition, time to change. Remember, our message is beauty. So I feel like you had been, somebody has been held back in terms of their beauty, right? Our word is beauty. Something had been holding back the beauty in your circumstances and your situation, and now there's a transition point towards some kind of a more beautiful state. There's a transition point to something more true to self, less dependent on others. I feel as though somebody was blocking somebody's expression of beauty for quite a long time. So it's like, be quiet, don't speak your mind, which is beautiful, right? Don't wear makeup, because that's an expression of beauty. One person was holding back another person in some way, not giving them the opportunity to express their beauty enough. And so now with this change and transition, there's going to be an opportunity to grow in beauty. This is almost like a fairy godmother who comes in and kind of bestows upon someone else some kind of gift of beauty. Here is the gift of beauty. Here is a beautiful gift. Here is the next message. We have this is the Love Oracle, the Journey of Love Oracle. And this Journey of Love Oracle is in my shop down below, the space between the words. This is, like I said, there was a glance, there was a connection between the eyes, between two people. And I feel like this fire water, remember, into the abscess was being poured. And so within that abscess, it's just a very natural state in which someone gave something over. It was a kinetic gift giving. It was not necessarily something that was harsh or intense. It was just something that was very natural, a natural transition from one thing to another. This person may had not even known about this transition or change. Beautiful. Here is the next message. We have the Christ flame. So what I'm saying is somebody stepping into a more genuine expression of their beauty. I feel as though there had been shackled. I really sensed that before this point, there was like a physical restraint, or even a physical restraint, which to me signifies either there was like a physical limitation that was imposed on one person, or there was the force of the suppression and control was so intense that actually it was almost impossible for someone to make certain judgment calls and decisions that they may have made had that not been a factor. So it's a huge release, almost like jumping on a trampoline away from a situation that was really, really holding someone back. Okay, so next we have the dance of the planets, and I feel as though this has to do with a transition of times, transition of being. I think that it's really important for the person who is in this position of being freed to really pay attention to the current transits vis-a-vis their own chart. If you don't understand how to do that, you can contact an astrologer. You can get a reading with me, although my wait time is really slow right now. But I would be happy to explain. Really pay attention to how your planets are vibing with the current transits. What do the current transits want of you? So we're doing a call to action, like what you must do, or what is the action that is being taken right now, or what you must do. And it is transition. It is to change and to embrace things that you never allowed yourself before. It's time to move forward. It's time to be successful. It's time for you to express your beauty. I can really feel it. Like the thing, like maybe it's not like physical beauty, your own beauty. Maybe it's a beauty of like how you take care of animals, how you take care of plants. Maybe it's an art of painting or writing. Maybe you've never allowed yourself to write, and now you're going to allow yourself to write and express these beautiful things. But be mindful of the planets and understand what the planets want from you, and then align yourself with those planets. So if like Jupiter is in your third house, lots of communication, lots of abundant communication right now. So you just want to pay attention to these like subtleties, and then play those out and express your beauty in the flow of the astrological sort of impact, or the astrological in relation to the astrology, in relation to the planets, right? Okay, so let's see the next card. We have spiritual growth. And that's, I really feel for many of you, this is an expression of physical beauty. So it's like not allowing yourself to do your hair a certain way, not wearing makeup, not doing this or that, not buying clothes, or whatever you find is beautiful. This is the time in which you are going to be doing that. And the spiritual growth has external manifestations of it. So the fact that you have grown spiritually, the fact that someone has grown spiritually, that allows them to in some way express themselves in a more free way in the material world. Okay, so let's see two more cards. We have the soul writing. So we have the message of writing a couple times. The message of writing something, communicating. This is the time. But this is also, I feel like this is the expression of the soul and defining the soul's purpose. I know not all of you can get a reading, but really check out where your north node is. What sign is it in? What house is it in your chart? If you can find those things out, that's going to be very helpful. Also, where is the north node in Cancer transitioning in your chart? So find Cancer in your chart. What house is it in? It's about 25 degrees of Cancer now, I believe, and going in retrograde motion. The north node always goes retrograde. Try to find out where that north node is, what house is it in, and what area of life does it have an impact on you, and how does it relate to your north node? Is it a square? Is it a trine? Is it a sextile? You can find most of that stuff online, but if you need help, then go to speak with an astrologer. Here is the next message. So we're sort of engraving our soul. Abundance, expressions of abundance. This is not going in ankle deep. You're going up to your thighs, you're going up to your chest, you're going up to your neck in abundance. You can just feel that pure, abundant energy all around you. The expression of beauty. This isn't a time of holding back. This is a time of you sharing your face to the world. This is a time of you really expressing what is truly within you, the thing that wasn't allowing you to hold yourself back. And I feel like you're being given a gift that will help you transition, will free you up from holding you back, and will in some way allow you to express your spiritual growth, like I said, in the material world. Interesting stuff. So go forward and prosper, that kind of thing. Make sure to comment and like on this video. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. This is another channel, so it's called Pick a Card, and I'm Veroosh, so this is my channel. I get comments like, Veroosh, I think somebody's stealing your videos. Nope, it's me. I'm posting them separately because in the main channel they just don't get viewed as easily, so this is going to help. And I don't like bothering people with tons of notifications, so make sure to hit that notification bell as well. Okay, so let's take a look at number 4. We have depth. This one kind of blew my mind. When I saw it, I was like, ooh, depth. What is it? Okay, so let's see. So you had the word depth. Hi, number 4s. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the second channel called Pick a Card. And I'm Veroosh. Hey, girl. Hey, let's take a look at your cards. The 10 of Crystals. Okay, so 10 of Crystals is, what is this? Is this Mercury in Virgo? That's right. Mercury in Virgo, 10 of Crystals. Abundant, knowing. You know your place. I have a sense that there's an emperor or someone who's very, like, you're the person who's firmly on the ground about who you are, firmly about who you represent, firmly about your expression of yourself. You are who you are. Nobody can in any way question, nobody in any way can mitigate your expression of yourself. Here is the next message. Ooh, we have the Hierophant, the guidance card, and this is the Taurus. Okay, so in some way, generation upon, this is karmic, sorry. So, well, what else can we get with a message like depth, right? You guys were asking for it. So generation upon generation, there was like energy being put into something. The Taurus, I have a meditation on my meditation channel. It's called Taurus meditation. I'll do it live for you guys soon. I have some new instruments, so we got to do it. It's a process that I created, and the Taurus is an infinity loop that regenerates. It's kind of like an energetic turbine. And so I use that to create an installation. It's an art project, and you can throw anything into it. Even if you're watching it now, I created it 2015 or something, but you can still use it in order to manifest. I'll link it down below. It's actually one of my favorite videos. It didn't get a lot of traction because it's a sciencey word, so maybe the sciences aren't really down into the magic of Taurus, but you can totally use it to manifest. So go check that out in the description below. But what I'm trying to point to, I want you to viscerally see it in order to kind of understand how past lives work and how karma works, because in some way something's cycling and something's very strong here. There's a real firm foundation, as I said, and so in some way you're feeding back into some sense of authority and some sense of power that you convey to other people. There's someone below this Taurus, below this this Hierophant. You know, there's people, there's scepters, there are people who in some way, there's a demos. Demos is like the population underneath some kind of joined connection and in reference to an authority. So there is an authority here, energy of authority, energy of a ruler, of a true ruler, a genuine ruler through authority and knowledge, through experience and expertise. Here is the next message. We have the Hanged Man. Oh, okay. So you want to move on from something. You want to move on from something, but life's not going to let you, frankly, because I think that you have a duty or a responsibility to this really strong connection, and other people are relying on you. So I feel like you are meant to speak on your experiences. You're meant to, in some way, there's still something that you have to do in order to complete your soul contract with your destiny. So your destiny is a soulmate energy as well, right? And so because it feels like upon many generations you've held high authority, there's like a divine principle here, there's a divinity within your bloodline, within your karmic truth, and so you keep speaking to that truth to people purely from your heart, and you're being elevated into this position. It's a nice position. It's kind of like you're up on stage, you're up on a soapbox, people are paying attention to you in some way, but I feel like you're speaking from the heart. You keep speaking your truth, and you don't really understand why you're doing it, but maybe now you can kind of sense, especially if you close your eyes, maybe you can sense the past lives that are feeding into this, all the times that your soul has been pounding away at this truth. I need to say this, I need to say this, I need to say this. And it's funny, if you pay attention to your life, what things do you bring kind of to the forefront of what you communicate in? Some things you get obsessed with, right? Some things you get super obsessed with, and you have to say it, especially if it's right, if it's truth, and you say, I have to say this, it's for the people, it's for the people. Whoever is perceiving this, whoever is reaching out to you for this information is your demos, is the person for whom you are the Hierophant, right? It's just speaking from the heart. Sometimes it's not logical. Sometimes you don't know where it's coming from. Where it's coming from is your past lives. You have an authority. You have an authority, a vested authority over something, to say something from the depth of your karma, right? And so in some way, I think that there's a desire to turn away, to move forward in life, but yet you still have to say that thing. You still have to drill that point home. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And so next we have the swan. The swan. Swan, you know, this is a swan, the swan. But swans couple. There's a one swan, two swan. They couple, they never part. So there's a swan looking for a partner, and I think there's a desire to in some way move forward. Maybe you're with a partner already. It's not necessarily how do you say this? It's not necessarily it doesn't matter if you're with someone or someone else. There's a desire to go away, and yet there's this kind of attachment to what you're saying. There's an attachment to what you are bringing forward, what you're communicating, what you're speaking through your heart about, and it's preoccupying you. You're a little crazy, but in a good way. You're crazy about the thing that you have to say, and when you turn away, there's another thing that solicits your attention, another thing that you have to speak to, another thing that sort of kind of makes you stay. Devotion to the small. Not all these cards are like these color schemes, so it's visually pleasing to see them together. I love this card. It's like you have this, whether you've confirmed it or not, a part of your devotion is to the things that are before you, the people reaching out, the people that are reaching out to your truth, the people who are reaching out to the messages. Part of the equation that I think is difficult for you to understand is why am I speaking what I'm speaking, because it's not all rational knowledge. Some of it is based on principle, morals, and facts, but some of it is coming from something deeper. So it's a tick you can't really quite explain about yourself, and maybe now you kind of understand that it's a karmic thing, something to do with the past. I'm not really doing too many karmic readings in my private sessions, but maybe down into the summer I will, and so you can come and ask me about that. But that's the motivation force. Maybe that's that turbine of energy that's motivating you to move forward. And so now there is a preoccupation with the individual here. You're preoccupied with the individual. You're preoccupied with the person who is the small, you know. But in some way, I was telling a client just today about she has a horse, right? She has a horse, and she was prioritizing the horse, and I'm like, the horse is like the small, even though the horse is much bigger than she is, right? But the horse is the thing, that the entity, the living sentient being that is in some way dependent upon her presence, right? So it's like that devotion to the small. No matter what the physical size is, there's a devotion and a care and a nurture. You're a protector or a protectress of some type of energy. Beautiful message. Here is the next message. We have the woman of the light. So I didn't mean to rattle on to this, but this is what's just like, your divinity is within you. Your divinity is being expressed through who you are. Yeah, there's a desire to kind of go do your own thing, to be a little bit, whatever, to the left, to the right, and allow yourself moments. You don't have to be serious all the time, but I feel like in some way, the expression, you have a purpose in what you're doing, and it's a very deep-rooted purpose. Wow, this is so karmic. Here we go. Next message, we have creativity. Okay, so maybe there's a creative outlet through which, here she wants to go here, so maybe there's a creative outlet through which you're supposed to express all this, maybe in your free time when you're not, maybe okay, so I picked up on the fact that maybe the person or the thing or the sentient being that you were protecting maybe doesn't need as much of your time anymore, and now you feel like you're ready to move forward. But this is saying, back it up, cowboy. You still have to kind of hang out here for a while. And I feel like what you're supposed to do is express yourself creatively through your creativity and create something while in between the waiting. So there'll be like pockets of waiting and kind of waiting out a situation. Maybe the person that you're due diligence towards, the person that you're protecting and nurturing, maybe they don't need as much of your attention right now, and so you're like, what am I going to do with my free time? I'm going to go. And this is actually saying that you're supposed to stay and in some way summarize, ruminate, express your catharsis creatively. Here is the next message, divine animals. It's so funny, we talked about the horse. So there's a cat, there's a dog, there's a little animal. But there's also, animal spirits and spirit guides that come through as animals and people. Sometimes you meet people and it's so clear, like, that they represent a certain type of animal divinity. So I feel like there's a message in that for you, that there's an animal-like entity coming into your life. And I think that you should express yourself through your creativity, and then that will connect with that person or thing that's coming into your life, that will in some way lead to the next thing. Let's find the last card. It's you're supposed to be doing your creative due diligence, and then there is going to be someone or something that's coming in, very animal energy, very animal-like energy coming straight through you, to you. I see a triangle, I see behind this is a lion, okay? And what my vision of this is that there's a triangle. There's an actual triangle through the light that's coming in, and that's manifestation. There's a creature that's a familiar that's coming into your life. A familiar is a creature. It could be a pet, so many of you will receive a pet. And here we have compassion. Wow, okay. Woman of light, creature of compassion. You're so selfless and giving. And you will receive a gift of a spirit guide. Now, if you don't get a pet, then you may receive a spirit guide coming through now, an angel or an animal guide that's coming through to be here with you. There's something coming in as a gift of your compassion and your self-service towards others. So beautiful message, very karmic. It's like, congratulations, you've earned it. Now you're gonna receive. Okay, number 4 is, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out my other channels, linked down below. I did a Taurus meditation. I told you guys about this. The cards are at my shop, and I will talk with you soon. Yeah? Okay, bye. Thank you for watching. Take care.